For yeah, can you just tap? Ah,
That's nice.
oh, nice.
Yeah. All I have to do is, all I have to do is. Oh. Space. Well, the space one? Yeah. Oh, the arrows, the arrows. Okay. I mean, I've got. Thank you.
Yeah. So this part works.
Okay. Okay, Tracy, Peter, sure. Yes. Well, maybe one of the kids is passing the egg. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kathy Sadie. I'm a docent here for 15 years, and I've been doing bird talk for a number of those years. And we come to the zoo, we want to see the tiger, which is not here anymore, but the bears and leopards, and we hardly ever talk about the birds. And we have fascinating birds here at the zoo. So I was asked some years ago to do this. So I'm self-learned. I am not an ornithologist. I am not an expert at all about birds, but I have read a lot about them. And every year it's a decision. What am I going to talk about? Am I going to talk about the feathers? Am I going to talk about flight? Am I going to talk about the laws? And this year I decided eggs. And this is actually the reason why the PVA. We'll get back to that. So we'll talk a little bit about the class, and this is all on the test. Classes AVs, orders 23, and the families of 249 species at least 10,000. That's not on the test. I'm just saying, that's no test. At least 10,000, but this number is going to change. This is as we find new bird species, we will, and as we get into more and more wild areas of the zoo of the world. And as you go through the doors, and we're talking about museums where they have thousands of specimens of birds that have been collected over the years, over the century, we're going to look back at their DNA and find that there's more than one specimen here that's a different species. So that number is going to change. Some people think it's going to be even twice that number of species, which is good because unfortunately there's the other side of them where they're going extinct. And we know the famous ones, the dodo, the elephant bird, the passenger pigeon, all human extinction evident. Now, just really quickly about ancient birds. They arose from theropod dinosaurs in the middle of the Cretaceous period, about 150 million years ago, maybe even older. This is Archaeopteryx. This specimen, this fossil was found in a German quarry in 1861. First they found the feather, and then they found the bird, the dinosaur. And it was, and you can see actually the feathers in the tail and in the wings. They didn't know what they were looking at because they didn't expect to find bird-like dinosaurs. And some people even thought it was an angel, they had no idea. But it was remarkably like a bird. It was a dinosaur. It had a bony jaw with teeth. Excuse me. It had claws on its wings, had a long tail. Birds don't have that anymore. A long bony tail. And but it was fully feathered. So dinosaurs, even before birds, had feathers. And theropods had the hollow bones. Some of them, they believe, were warm-blooded, similar to birds. And they were, many of them fully flighted. This guy probably glided more than flew. But and I'm trying to think if I got a picture of a later bird. Oh, nope, go back. Nope, I don't. Other birds in the Lake Cretaceous actually look bird-like, you know. Now, they made it through the great extinction event between Cretaceous and Paleogene era 66 million years ago. It was a bad place to be here. There was the asteroid that hit down, and the Yucatan Peninsula. There was a tremendous volcanic activity going on in India. They had lava flows that were over a mile deep. But they don't think, even though as cataclysmic as that was happening with gases and stuff going up in the air, they really think it was the asteroid that hit. And eventually it killed off 75% of life on it, plants and animals. The only things that would survive were generally small. So mammals, not anything much bigger than a rat, and small theropod, which did have an advantage of flight. So they were able to find food, find water, find shelter, find mates. So they did okay. So that's it about the history of birds, because that's a whole nother story. Any questions? So we're going to go, now we're going to talk about the birds of the zoo. This is my favorite, Teresita. And I do want to say ahead of time, thank you to Beardsley's Photography, a group that donated all these pictures, most of them, because they don't know they did. I stole them. I mean, I borrowed them. And Teresita, now primors, I know I have more information about that. If you will give me a minute. They could live up to 50 years in the wild, but she's 60. They could live, we had one that was 79 when he passed. One of the longest, I don't know if we even have the bird feather anymore. That long one, that was his. You remember? It might be upstairs. But we had a really long feather, and that was his. If you could help me, let me see. It won't change anything up there, right? Because I do have, give me a minute. Technology. No, that's what I do. I could read it better from here. If I can find it. Yeah, is that a computer? Do you have the words? Bird notes? Bird notes? Do I press it? No. Huh? I'm sorry, Des. I'm terrifically old. I don't think that's. Oh, it's not on here anymore. Bird notes. I have my notes about everything that's going on. Let's see the notes. Okay, does it have write-ups on all of these guys somewhere? Sorry. They're a unique structure. Only birds have them. Again, dinosaurs have ear-cut dinosaurs also, and they made it through the extinction. And they are amazing piece of engineering. It's talking about the condor feather. You can see each and every single little barb and barbel that's on here that will put that together. This is, you know, there you have hands that can do it with their hands. And we've got tape. I use that, it helps get that.
Oh,
I have, you need to have it still in here. I'll read it from here. I do apologize. I hang out a lot with Teresita because then I don't have to walk through the rest of the Zoom. It was in Word doc. It was in the Word document. That's all I said.
They use it flow like,
there you
oh, what is it? And then 12 is the birthday party happy, okay? Okay, very good, and ready? Reward. Yeah, so, we done reward.
This way they don't have to read all that stuff. All right, if you don't mind, I'm gonna sit, because my eyesight's not active. All right, so these are one of the largest flying birds in the world. Not the females, the males. The males are bigger than the females. Generally, birds of prey, the girls are bigger, so hawks, eagles, or owls, but it's the other way around in the Andean condor. They're found along the western coast of South America in the Andes Mountains. They're also found along the shoreline too, because they'll catch shore breezes to help them get lift. In the cliffs of the mountains, they just have to step off and get the thermals. And they could fly up to 21,000 feet. They can fly about 100 miles a day without even flapping their wings. They're amazing, amazing flyers. They are one of our 7 New World vultures, and they are the black, the turkey, the greater and lesser yellowhead, the California condor, the king vulture, and the Andean. They reach maturity. It's a long time for these guys to get big. They reach around 9 years old. They produce 1 egg every other year, and both parents will care for the chick. Fact. Oh, vultures have the strongest gastric acid in the animal kingdom. pH is just around 0, and it's stronger than battery acid, and it's 100 times stronger than ours. It can kill anthrax and botulism and any other bacteria the birds swallow while feeding. She is 64 years old. She arrived from San Diego Zoo in 2012, and she's being monitored because she has poor eyesight. So she's not flying anymore. All right, so now we'll do our next. Any questions about our beautiful condor? We did have a couple going back, I want to say about 12 or 13 years ago, 14 years ago. We had a young couple. They were probably about 4 or 5 years old, but they were, at first we had him, then we had her, and they got along great. They were cleaning each other and feeding each other, and they were released in Colombia, South America. So that's exciting. That's a great story to tell our folks, because they like to hear that. Then we have the greater rhea. Now, greater rheas are the largest bird also in the Western Hemisphere, but it's because of flock. We had, there are also called the common, the American rhea. They're found in eastern South America. They stand about 5 foot tall. Here is a rhea egg. And they live up to 30, 40 years in human care, 15 in the wild. The males are aggressive and territorial during breeding season. The males will build a nest. Excuse me. They will encourage wife or females to come and lay their eggs. He will incubate 50 or more in the breeding season and care for the young for about 6 months. So he's the original Mr. Mom. They're omnivorous. They prefer broadleaf plants, clovers, seeds, newts, fruits, insects, and small vertebrates such as lizards, frogs, and small birds and snakes. Now we have Boomer here, who is 12 years. We've had him for 12 years. He came from the National Zoo in 2011, and we did have a female, but she, in fact, I think some of these eggs might be from her, which that's like he was here. Now, the barred owl. I love these owls because I hear them in my in the woods in the backyard. And we have, I think, 3 of them now. Yeah, one, two, three. Barred owls are originally the owls of the east, but they're spreading west and through the Pacific Northwest and into California during the 20th century. And the problem with that is that they've been hybridizing with the spotted owl, which is an owl. Some of us older folks will remember the spotted owl issue in the redwoods and in the old growth timber companies couldn't cut down trees that had spotted owls because they were protected. And there was a whole big thing about the stupid bird, keeping us from our livelihood. So, and now we have barred owls going over there and hybridizing with them, which can cause even more problems. So they're not all excited about them coming over there. They are mostly nocturnal, but they're active at dawn and dusk, so that makes them crepuscular. So we have diurnal, that's daytime, nocturnal, nighttime, crepuscular, dawn, and dusk. They're displacing and hybridizing with endangered spotted owls. They don't migrate generally. They don't move too much, and I'll talk about their eggs in a little while. The oldest recorded barred owl was at least 26 years old, and I don't know how old ours are. I'd have to look and see. Yeah, we don't have any. Oh, we've got one that's getting up there in her 20s. They probably mate for life. They raise one brood a year. Their nests can be preyed on. There's a lot of animals that prey on bird eggs. Weasels are one of them, and raccoons, owls, hawks. But their most dangerous predator is the great horned owl. Great horned owls are the tiger of the northern sky. There are forest birds that tend to occur in their mature forests, which is why they're kind of heading out west. A lot of forests are disappearing. And that makes them sensitive to logging expansion. So we have Mist, who's in her early 20s. She came here in 2005. And she is the one, I think, in the Mist. Mist, M-I-S-T, Mist. Then we have Xena. She's 7 years old. And there's another one, I don't know what it's named. They came in 2016 from Sharon Audubon, and they are in the farmyard. They're part of education. And I forgot which one. One of them I know has a eye issue. All of our birds of prey around the zoo, there's something wrong, so they can't be released. Now we have our white-naped crane. She's a famous one because she was on TV. Cora came to us back in 21. She was just, I think, a year old. Yeah, she was just a year old. She came from the Bronx Zoo. She was on the Bronx Zoo's TV show, we're at the zoo, something like that. And so they filmed her getting into the van and bringing her here and getting settled in and stuff like that. So she was still in her juvenile plumage. I think she's finally reached adult plumage now, more close to it. We did have another one here, male, McDuffie, and he was pretty old. He wasn't quite the oldest. He was getting there though, and he just passed away this year. They're omnivores. They eat seeds, roots, and tubers, and aquatic plants, insects, small amphibians, and rodents. They can live 15 years in the wild and up to 45 human years. So he was getting close to, I think he was in his 40s. Now there was a female at the National Zoo. Her name, I think, Walnut, and she was infatuated with the keeper. And you could see videos of her kind of dancing with the keeper, and they were able to mate her artificially, and she had 8 chicks that day because of her dancing with Chris. And she didn't do well with males of her own species. It's very poor. So they decided not working. And she just loved Chris. So he would do the dance and they were able to artificially inseminate her and they got 8 chicks out of it. So that's good. So she hopefully will have a little easier time with 4 this time. And how old is he about? In the wild, up to 15 years. It's not on the test. But I'm trying to give you some little things so you only be able to talk to folks for like a couple of seconds. So they want to know about that. They know, oh yeah, Sandhill cranes, we got them in Florida, blah blah blah. I want to know about that bird there. So this bird here is greater Sandhill crane, and they are 4 foot tall, 7 pounds, wingspans over 6 feet. They're omnivores. They generally mate for life. They generally lay about 2 eggs. Usually one survives. We did have eggs that were laid and that hatched into chicks on something. So that didn't last long. They do hang out in family groups, especially during migration. You'll have hundreds or maybe thousands of them up in the plains, in Montana and up by the Great Lakes area where they migrate back to Canada, tens of thousands. Their predators are foxes, raccoons, coyotes, wolves, bobcats, crows, ravens, eagles, owls. They attack by leaping in the air and kicking with their feet toward their predator. I don't have a piece here. But and they'll spread their wings and hiss and do all of it. So you don't want to be around them. I know that the keepers, when they go in there, animal care specialists, when they go in there, they have to wear goggles. This is Gantry, who's 16 years old, came in from 2010, and who was a female, she passed away. So I don't know. And they are one of the loudest animals we have. When he starts bugling and Forrest starts bugling, you can hear it makes a wonderful wake up alarm. Then we have turkey vulture. I love meatball. Turkey vultures, we have them here in Connecticut, and some of them do migrate. They migrate around south. They're range from southern Canada all the way down here to Fuego and in South America. There's a place in Pennsylvania, it's called Hawk Mountain, where you can see the red-tailed hawks on their migration, and also turkey vultures. Turkey vultures can travel up to 200 miles a day. They have an extraordinary sense of smell, the largest olfactory smelling system in all birds. They could smell carrion from over a mile away. There was I was watching Sir David Attenborough, who is a Gajmi, and I saw him, he had a piece of meat that he buried in litter, meat litter and stuff in the woods. There was not a bird in the sky. And within 45 minutes, we saw them coming around the circle. Now, they don't like really dead stuff. They don't like stuff that's rotting. They prefer their dead stuff to be between 12 and 24 hours. Keep this, you can smell. But they do have this, they can sense the gases that are given off, and you see them up there. They have kind of a wobbly flight. And if you look up, the wings are white all down here on the sides. If it's a black vulture, the white's at the tips. But turkey vultures, what was it too? They are the only scavenger bird that can't carry this flag. So they have to eat dead stuff. And this is Meatball, and she is 29. She came in 1990. So she's been here a long time. You know what? I don't have that. I don't know why I don't. Well, we could look that up. Pretty long. And I don't think there's really much sexual dimorphism changes the difference between the males and the females. I think they look essentially the same. But I know that they've used turkey vultures to help them find gas leaks in remote areas out west. They would put the smell that they would be attracted to. And so if there's a gas leak, now of course with computers would probably find it easier. But they'll just watch to see where the vultures are circling overhead and they'll be able to pinpoint where it is. Some cool way of using our animal friends for our benefit, besides food. Oh yeah, this was a pretty crummy picture of, oh no, well, kind of pixelated a little bit. This is Zari. Zari is our African gray, also known as Congo parrot. Weighs about 14 ounces, wingspan between 18 and 20 inches. Gray body with a red tail. It doesn't show it there, but she's got a red tail underneath. They could live up to 23 in the wild and more than double that in human years. They're native to equatorial Africa, dense forests, but can be found in forest edges and savannas. A famous African gray is Alex. Probably heard about Alex and the studies done by Irene Hemmerberg. Did you guys ever hear that one? The famous bird, it's got a book out. Well, anyway, she worked with him for over 30 years, and he was able to, I mean, the work that she did showed scientists that it's not just the mammalian, the primates that have, and dolphins that have the intelligence, but that some birds do. And he was amazing, the things that he could do to communicate. So that you don't need just a large primate brain. And we're finding out that even trees communicate. So stay tuned yet. There's a lot more to do. Now we found Zari in Dursley Park. I know Greg had done a whole story about her a couple of years ago, how somebody had seen her out in the park, just outside the zoo. And we turned her down. She wouldn't come. But he was finally able to go up on the ladder and get her and bring her down. And she's been advertised, and no owner ever showed up because she certainly doesn't belong. She's not native to Bridgeport. So she became an education animal. Although they did tell me that she imitates blue jays. That's one of her what? She imitates blue jays. And I was asking what was her favorite food. They said the avian biscuit.
The baby carrots.
Yeah.
Baby cake. And she gets peanut as a treat every day.
Peanut as a treat, yeah.
She does peanut every day.
Yeah. So, but she's a cool bird. But she won't make the sound and stuff when you're there. She waits until you're gone, and then she'll imitate the blue jays, or she'll be, and the doves too. They'll be chatting away until you go in there. Oh, I didn't move it. What happened? Am I hitting the right thing? It's frozen. Perhaps. Okay. That should really be. Oh. Yeah, there it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary. It was. Oh, yeah. All right. So now we have bald eagle. I used to hang around with bald eagles too because it's a covered area. Of course, now we have to wait until see when he gets back in there again. Also, they are females are larger than the males. Their diving speed, which is pretty fast, can be 75 to 99 miles an hour. And their lifespan is 20 to 30 years in the wild. They can live up to 50 years in human care. Their spiritual symbol to Native people in the U.S. We have to collect his contour feathers, the wings and the tails, and send them back to U.S. Fish and Wildlife. They go to a depository in just outside of Denver, Colorado. And so native people could go and get these feathers to be used in their ceremonies. They have the permits and stuff, and you just can't. And it's besides them being our national emblem or symbol, they are protected by the bald eagle and golden eagle acts. So we can't even hold on to these feathers, and certain feathers too, where we have to got to make sure people don't walk away. I know I had somebody walking around with a condor feather. Where did you get that? Oh, it was just outside the thing. He said, she must have reached in there. God, And I said, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Excuse me. They were very nearly wiped out in the 70s. Those of us who from back in that day remember that eagles were disappearing. They were almost going extinct. And it was we discovered it was DDT, use of DDT in the farmlands, and it was getting into the waters and getting into the fish that these animals ate, and then cumulative, and it would cause problems with them using calcium. And so the eggs would be laid with very thin shells, and in fact, or they'd be laid without shells at all. And once they figured that out, and then made a decision to stop using DDT, and eventually they came back, and they've come off the endangered species list. They're still protected again. I think they're off the Connecticut endangered species list. I haven't looked at this year's. And we have a pretty healthy population in Connecticut now, year round, and that migrate too. So we're very, it's amazing to see them, because I thought the only place I was ever going to see them was in the zoo, and yet we've seen them wild coming over the zoo. They've been in the tree outside of the gift shop. I saw one out in the park, a juvenile one out in the park eating something dead because they eat carrion too. And I was like, oh, so neat. Take a picture. So that was really cool. And Kodiak, and he came to us as a juvenile. He wasn't completely adult yet. They reach adult about 5 years. They get the white head and white tail, and the golden beak and feet. And he's missing portion of his right knee. He came from Alaska. Kodiak. Kodiak. Yeah. And unfortunately, he came from Alaska. Came in 2010. So he's a really cool bird. I don't know what they're going to do to modify his habitat so he can get back in there again. Huh?
Or we can just.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the other way that we get rid of birds that are a problem. But we also have to be concerned about avian flu too.
Yeah.
So I don't. He's not going to stay there because that's going to come down with tiger, new tiger habitat order. But let's see, is there anything else? Yeah.
He drives the leopards crazy.
Oh yeah. Well, and he doesn't have he doesn't have a really cool voice. He sounds like a chicken on helium. He just has a really wimpy sound. So when you see eagles on movies and TV, it's a dubbed-in red-tailed hawk screech. That's what they use. So that shriek that you have, it's a dubbed-in red-tailed hawk. And then we have our blue and gold macaw. Now they can live up to 45 years. They have a bite force of over 2,000 PS. They can go through a Brazil nut, and the Brazil nut is like, they can go through it like that. Our human bite force is 126 pounds per square inch, so you can see how. They're generally monogamous, but they remain bonded for life. But when they're flying in large groups, they'll gently keep together, even their wings touching, male and female. They can reach speeds of up to 36 miles an hour. They're important seed spreaders. So these guys are important out there in the rainforest because they help to build more rainforests. And this is Newton. She was hatched around perhaps 1997, and she came to us from Connecticut Audubon in 2002. We very nearly lost her a while ago. She was egg-bound and got stuck in and wouldn't come out. And we were very nearly lost her, but she made it through. She also went through, she used to be here. We used to have birds in here, and she used to screech. She used to scream. I mean, it was ear splitting, scream, and people were like, "Oh," and they react to it, which would make her do more. And so it was constantly, "Don't react to it, don't react." So finally, when they moved her out of here, she didn't do anything. So I think she just didn't like all these people coming around. They get very used to certain, there's a hierarchy of people that they will accept. She didn't like men in hats. That I knew. I know she didn't like men in hats. How'd she do with you?
She did it the first time and then after that.
Okay. I know she got my daughter by the thumb and she was holding her and she had to put her down on the ground, and then she had to go to the hospital. But she has oh, and I know her favorite treat are banana chips. She loves banana chips. And she will get a peanut, that's okay, but when you talk about hierarchy of treats, the banana chips should do anything with banana chip. So that's the blue golden pop. Newton. And she goes to birthday
PSI.
on her bike. I don't know.
The daughter said.
Yeah, it's on these parrots and go up to 2,000. Yeah. That's like the alligator.
Yeah.
This lovely bird. Yeah. This boat-billed heron. I think they're very strange looking herons. They live on the margins of freshwater rivers, lakes and marshes, mangrove swamps from Mexico through Central and South America down to Peru and Brazil. They eat fish, shrimp, insects, small mammals, amphibians. They're nocturnal. You can see the big eyes on them. And they spend the day roosting in trees. They have that large boat bill. Looks like a boat. And they drown, and it goes up. But I don't know if they've ever seen it go up. I've never seen it go up. I've seen pictures of it, but not in our guys. I think they're Bert and Ronnie. There's no names in the animal. I think that's what their unofficial names are. They were both hatched around 2001 and they came here from 2018 from the Buffalo Sea. Now, just another aside, we don't have this particular bird, but I'm always reminded of it when I see the boat bill, and that is the shoebill. Anybody's ever seen a shoebill? They're strange looking herons. They stand about 5 foot tall and they look like a person in a costume. You have to look the picture up because they're really strange birds. But every time I see the boat bill, I think of the hen. Yeah. Then we have the common pintail duck. They breed in Northern Europe and North America, and they winter south of the equator. Their lifespan is 22 years. Males have what they call, I don't know what that is. I'm not going to talk about it. They have a pointy wedge-shaped tail. And they eat aquatic plants, worms, snails, crustaceans, aquatic insects, and grains like rice, corn, wheat, barley. They must be fun around the farmers. We have 2 females that were hatched in 2018, Gianna and Gina. Well, and 1 male, Justin, in 2018. 1 female was hatched in 2018. 1 male was hatched in 2018 here. And then we got Gina, and I'm not sure when she was hatched, but she came from a private collection in 2009. I can't tell you a lot about these birds today. How they hang out down in the farmyard. Then we got the tiger of daytime sky. Red-tailed hawks. Now these are the ones with those wonderful screams. And they are a bird of prey. They weigh anywhere from 1.5 to 5 pounds. Their wingspan, and that's the females, again, they're going to be the bigger ones. Wingspans are from 3.5 to 4.5 feet. They can reach a diving speed of 120 miles an hour. And they eat a variety of mammals, birds, and reptiles. They may feed on carrion. As I said, it's called the tiger of the daytime sky. And they have that red tail that you can see there. That's a good tip. Now she, do I have a picture of her? What do they do there? Mammals, reptiles, birds, but yeah, they're eating anything. They are carnivores. But I don't have her stats. How did I do this? This is Arwen, right? Arwen?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'll have to get that to you. I don't know how I didn't have her stats. I was doing this when I was drinking, because oh, diving 120. Red tail, 120. Yeah. Yeah. She's a dog.
You have a name for this?
Arwen. She's been here for quite a while. I have to look it up. Do you have the, actually, I had, the latest, animal, thing from, Linda. She sent it to me. Linda's nice.
Oh, I think I'm stacking. No, number.
But she gave me the latest, inventory, and I can tell you that in 1 second. She is, oh, no. Good ones. Oh, just the one thing that hurts. Red-tailed hawk. Her birth date was probably around 2016. I thought that was Arwen. It's not Arwen. Arwen is the Harris hawk. She is Erida. And she came to us from 2016 from the Sharon Audubon. Erida. I'm sorry. Erida. I thought she was in. Can keep these raptors and.
Yes.
That's called a shoebill story. Yeah. They are so strange. That they really, when you see them standing there, you think it's a person who's passing. Yeah. They are amazing looking. I saw it in the Dallas Aquarium. Dallas Aquarium, I think, has more birds than they do fish. Yeah. I mean, if you see them standing there, when I came around the corner, I was at the Dallas Aquarium. When I came around the corner, and there it was standing in its glass,
It's pretty cool.
It's weird. It's strange. All right, so now we have the Emperor Goose. Emperor Goose weighs from 25 to 28 pounds. A short, big bill, clean white head, orange legs, body is dark silver, white tail. They nest in a relatively small area in Alaska, saltwater marshes. The Yucatan, Delta. And they just do short migration. They don't go very far. Families migrate together. They may migrate over to Russia. And we have a male and a female. They both hatched in 2018, and they arrived in 2018 from Washington Zoo, Woodward Zoo, Washington. They're beautiful. Look at that white nape on that, similar to the white nape thing. And I think they are in the farmyard, right? Yeah. So.
You know their names?
I don't think they have names. I mean, they may have names, they may have named them, but I don't know that they have names. It's not listed on our animal inventory. Barn owls, that's a squished up picture. I don't know what happened there. We're supposed to have the sandhill crane. Did I go past it? No. Did I do sandhill cranes yet? Oh, I did. Huh. Oh, you know what? This is not keeping with, oh, here it is, the barn owl. All right, so barn owls have that amazing heart-shaped face and short square tail. They're found in every continent except Antarctica. And their lifespan is 2 to 4 years, but they can live up to 34 years in being here. And they are like most owls, they have that near silent flight. And if you have an owl feather here. And you can see the. Oh, that's cool. It could be. It's got that kind of fluffy stuff on the inside. So, owls, they have more rods than cones in their eyes. So if we had eyes like owls, because the organs of sight take up most of their, they're not really that nice. They don't have to be. They're perfect the way they are. So their organs of sight take up most of their brain. If we had eyes like owls, our eyes would have to be the size of grapefruits. But they also have their ears are not in the same place on their heads like ours are. They're asymmetrical. Thank you for the word. Asymmetrical. So they'll listen first, and when they hear something, then they'll focus their laser vision right on what it is they're looking for, and they have that silent flight because they're gonna, they fly far. I'm gonna find what they have to eat. They only need, like, say, they need light. They can't fly in complete darkness. They usually fly by the light of stars and the moon and stuff. But if you were to light a candle and put it in the middle of a stadium, a darkened stadium, that's all the light they would need. Really, really good. A lot more tones, a lot more rods than tones, right? Rods are the light receptors, tones are monochrome. And they see in shades of gray and white. These owls don't hoot. The barred owls are hooters. They have a really cool range of hoots. These guys have more chirps, snores, hissing, and a distinctive gargling scream. I was trying to figure out how to put that on because that is weird and unsettling. Huh? Oh yeah, yep, yep. They are. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't have what they eat, but yeah, they're owls of carnivores. And this is Spectre. He was hatched in 2007, and he came to us from the Mill Mountain Zoo in Virginia in 2009. We had a female, she's passed. And then Harris's hawk. This is Arwen. Harris's hawk are 18 to 24 inches tall. The wingspan 3-4 feet, and their lifespan is 15 to 20 years old in the wild. And they are really cool birds because they are cooperative hunters. They'll mom and dad and their children, and then their children, from other years, will all hunt together. Someone will stand up on top of a cactus, and someone will try to flush out rabbits or mice or whatever they find on the ground, and then they'll hunt and they'll eat cooperatively. Mom and dad eats first, and then all the rest. But they will even stand on each other's back, sort of like a totem. So they have saguaro cactus. If you've never seen it, it's very tall, and you'll see these birds standing up there. Some of them on top of the back. Keep an eye out to look around for prey. So they're really kind of cool. And we have, huh?
Where is it?
In the farmyard, on the upper farmyard. The barred owls, one barred owl is over by the bison, the other two over in the upper farmyard, and Harris's hawk is way to back. Along with the red-tailed hawk. And this is Arwen. We don't know her age. She came in 2010. Harris's hawk. Oh, you got to get into. Oh, the peahen. We still have her, right? We used to have peacocks. I think we still have the sign out there of our roaming birds. Some years ago, this decision was made: no more roaming birds, because every single day, you're yelling at kids to stop chasing the birds, stop trying to catch the birds, going, especially the peacocks with that long train. And it was frustrating for us. It was kids hated them, the parents hated when we talked to them. That was tough on birds. So after a couple of incidents, they decided no more roaming birds. So the peacocks were gone. We did have a couple of pea hens, and now we're down to one of those. And this is Penelope.
She's not a pea hen.
She is a pea hen. Yeah, we have peacocks, pea hens, pea chicks. And they are originally from India, Sri Lanka, over there, but they're on every continent except Antarctica. So we brought them. So we love this. Pretty. And there's 3 different species. There's a blue, Indian blue, there's the Indian green, and then the jungle peafowl. But this is the one that we're used to because it's female. The males are the ones with the tail coverts. They start in maybe November, December, growing them again, and they go around till maybe around June, they start dropping. And so any tail coverts that you see around here we didn't pull them out. They fell all by themselves and find them. My daughter worked at a place in Virginia where they had 2 peacocks, and she came home with 200 tail feathers because they dropped them over the summer. 200 from 2 peacocks. Yeah, that's all she is. We even had eggs at one time too, but something like that. So they nest on the ground. They can fly. They don't fly far, but they can roost up in the trees, and they don't migrate. They're like turkeys. They don't migrate. They're pretty good. Males to the.
Well, we stopped the peacocks to belonging. Why didn't we not exhibit it?
Well, they did do it with the pea hens,
Just not the
not
peacocks.
the peacocks. You know,
Right.
It's finding an area for them too. They need some room. We didn't have them fighting. I don't know if they'll ever bring them back. It's too bad because we kind of miss them.
Yeah.
But we don't miss the problems for them. I don't think they'll ever have anything roaming around again, except for sometimes we get wild turkeys.
Where did you bring them?
Huh?
What did you have?
I have no idea. But, yeah, animals come and go here.
Yeah.
They are omnivorous. The males, let's see. They forage on the ground. They are omnivorous. They eat seeds, insects, worms, fruit, small mammals, frogs, and reptiles. Table scraps, crops, and garden plants. And in captivity, they could live to 20s. I have 2 written down, but I know it's more than that. Lifespan in the wild is 15. All right, so now we have Penelope. Oh, Tuttle. I'm sorry. Penelope was and she came in 2021 from a private collection. This is Indian runner duck. And I don't know if you've ever seen videos of them. You'll see hundreds of them running. They herd them right down a road and stuff. It's crazy. There's little ducks running. An Indian runner duck. They're a breed of domestic duck. They stand erect like penguins, and they run instead of waddling. And they're just so funny to see them going. Females will lay between 300 and 350 eggs a year. And when we get to eggs, you'll see how amazing that is. Egg color is a greenish blue. The lifespan is between 8 to 12 years. They eat mosquito larvae, slugs, snails, weeds. They don't require a pond, but they do like swimming, and they're very graceful. So we have Tuttle and Beatrix. They're both hatched in 2014 from a private collection. They're good to have around. And then, let's see. We have the northern black whistling duck. Yeah, black-bellied whistling duck. They have long legs. Oh, it doesn't show it. So I get the one that doesn't show that good stuff. And it has a pink bill too. It doesn't show that either. Lifespan is only about 8 years. They're only one of 2 whistling duck species native to North America. And they can be found year-round in much of the U.S. They perch high in trees. At night, they feed on plants, seeds, grains, and small insects and invertebrates. They feed mainly at night. But they're active both day and night. They form monogamous pair bonds, which also is kind of unusual for ducks. And they stay together to feed, nest, and raise the young for many years. So that's pretty cool. Beautiful. Beautiful job, Doug. Now, I'm pretty sure that one's in the farmyard team. Yeah. Oh, it's in the rainforest. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't remember. I didn't write that down where they were. Because pay attention to that. And we got chickens. Now, chickens, oh, come back down here. All chickens that we see today were bred from red jumbo fowl. These were birds that from India and Asia, and they still exist. And so all the chicken breeds that you see today, and chickens are the most abundant bird in the world because we breed them for the eggs and the food, and feathers. Rhode Island red chicken, we have females, and the adults are about 8.5 pounds, and they can live up to 10 years or more. The females will lay 260 eggs. They're a very prolific egg layer too. Large, extra brown. They're the state bird of Rhode Island. They're very resistant to most diseases. They tend to be escape artists. They're very curious. They're bred in Rhode Island and Massachusetts way back in the second half of the 19th century from birds that were from Oriental origins, such as the Cochin, Java, and Malay in Shanghai. And with brown leghorn birds from Italy. So that's how they got the Rhode Island red. And if you've ever gone to a poultry show and you see all the different kinds of breeds of birds, it's just amazing. So we have 3 females that are hatched in 20, and they came here in 20 from a private collection. What are the laying eggs? We have this guy here, Sebastopol. I love this picture, and this is again some of the Bearsley Zoo photographers. Might have been Jack, I'm sure. This bird was bred for these feathers. They are bred from this wild gray-leg geese. They originated in southeastern Europe near the Black Sea, named after a Russian city from which they were imported to the U.S. In Germany, they're known as the Struppguts or Lackengans, which means unkempt goose or curl goose, due to the frizzled appearance of the feathers. They have blue eyes, an orange bill and feet. They eat grains, seeds, insects, and grasses. They lay about 30 to 50 eggs a year. And they're good parents. They're friendly, generally quiet, less aggressive than other goose breeds. And they don't fly because of their feathers. And they don't like to wander. They need to be kept warm in cold, wet weather. But currently, their status is threatened. This is true of, we're watching with heritage breeds. That's why we're watching. In fact, one of the docents will be giving a talk about heritage breeds and heirloom fruits and vegetables. So do that because that was a great class.
You guys just talk Santa all the time. You walk in there, nobody's around. You walk into the barnyard area, there's a goose that just yeah.
I don't know. I don't go to the farmyard that often. I don't walk over that unless I really have to. This is a male, came in 2009. We don't know how old he is, but he's been here for a long time. He's a cool goose. And then we have the scarlet ibis. Scarlet ibis weigh about 1.5 pounds, 22 inches long. Their lifespan is about 16 in the wild, which is pretty good for a pink bird, and 20 in human care. They're a tropical wading bird found in South America and parts of the Caribbean, often found near freshwater and brackish water marshes. They're carnivorous. They eat aquatic insects, crustaceans, small fish, and reptiles. They're that beautiful orange red and black wingtips, and they'll poke in the mud looking for food, that bill, that long, slender bill. And we have Skippy, that was hatched in 1990. And he's a male. And then Bruno, who's a female, she came in 2010. She was hatched in 2001. And we have another, is it a male or female? But it's in the clinic. So that was just hatched in 19 and will be here, just came in 23. So we'll have another skyline. It's beautiful birds. I wish we had flamingos. I didn't say that out loud, did I? And then the ring teal duck, ring teals, which I didn't know we had. Small South American duck, and this one must be in the, I'm gonna say in the rainforest probably. And this is Drake, has a blue-gray bill, chestnut orange back, pale gray flanks, it's really pretty, really. And they have a distinctive band from the head down to the nape of its neck. You just about see it in that one. Their lifespan is up to 15 years. They eat aquatic plants, seeds, and small invertebrates. We have 2 males. They came from the Dallas World Aquarium. Like I said, the Dallas World Aquarium, I swear, has more birds than they do fish. And then we have I think just 2 more now after this. Not 3 more. 3 more, and then we're going to get to the eggs. How are we doing? Oh, good. All right, the cotton patch geese. Cotton patch goose weighs up to 12 pounds. Males are a little bit bigger. They're domestic breed, possibly descended from the European stock brought over to the U.S. during colonial times. And they're pretty goose. And they just came in 2023. Just came this year from a private collection. That looks like a goose. And then the khaki Campbell goose. This is a really strange. Khaki Campbell goose, domestic duck. I'm sorry, khaki Campbell duck is a domestic duck originating from a cross between a fawn white Indian runner and the good-tempered roan. They are good egg-laying superstars. They lay about 300 eggs a year. And they started in Gloucester, England in the late 1800s. They're able to tolerate the cold and the heat, but they really can't fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have apparently 5 khaki Campbell ducks. They were hatched in 22 and they came here in 23. They're from a private collection. So you can see we have quite a collection of birds around the zoo. You don't really pay attention to them. Some of them you can't see because they're up in education. And then we have
Incubate any of their eggs?
yeah, we do some of them. Yeah, some of them were hatched here. I'd have to go back and see which ones. But yeah. Now we have the ring-necked dove. Now we have 2 of these guys. They're omnivores, eat seeds, various insects, invertebrates. They're originally descended from the African collared dove and has been domesticated for over 2,000 years. They have magnetic tissues in their heads, really in the bills, that help them navigate using Earth's magnetic field. Due to this navigational abilities, doves and pigeons were used especially during World War II and World War I as messengers and other wars too. And one famous pigeon saved about 1,000 British soldiers and was awarded a medal by delivering a message which prevented the village in Italy from being bombed during World War II. And there's another one that saved a regiment of soldiers and was shot, was able to deliver its message. So, I mean, they're amazing birds. Now, the 2 that we have Houdini and Copper. Houdini's the male. He was hatched in 2010. She was in 2010 also. They came here in 2014, but they were magicians, part of the Magician's Act. And they could fly and they would return with a command word, but they never told us what the command word was. And so, huh?
Can we teach them a new one?
I'm sorry.
Can we teach them a new command word?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they have the time to do that. I don't know. But you'll hear them cooing up there. Pigeons and doves are one of just several species of birds that feed their young a pot milk. They have and both the male and female will feed them their squabs, the trot milk. The other ones are the Antarctic penguins and flamingos. They feed and the Antarctic penguins are the males. will feed the to the babies. His mom's gone off to sea. And the flamingos, when they're hatched, their bills are not crooked yet. So their bills are straight. So mom and dad feed them crop milk until their beaks, bend and they're able to go along the water and get their food. But so they're a different color than mom and dad. They're kind of a brownish color, I think. They're not that pink yet. But yeah, the doves we use in the education department, we take them out on road as schools and nursing homes and prisons and everything else. But we haven't been able to do the come back to us thing yet. I don't know. We have to see if they can learn a new word. And what was it they said? What was their favorite food? I'm trying to think. Ashley told me. I think might be a berry or something. It wasn't so. All right, so that. Oh no, I'm sorry. I forgot about her because she wasn't on the list. Azrael, common raven. This is the one. Their wingspan's just over 4 feet. They have the wedge-shaped tails. So if you see a crow, you see a raven. Ravens are bigger. They got a little more fluffier feathers in the back, almost like a mane. And their bills are much bigger than a crow's. And excuse me, their call is more deep-throated and rougher than a crow. But and they have the wedge tail, whereas the crow has more of the square tail. But they're both in the same family, corvid family. They're very intelligent. Again, this is where we found that birds have a brain. They're not all flighty. They have done many experiments with them, finding food, doing separate steps. Doing this whole amazing maze and finding that food, finding it quicker than a human could. So they're pretty good. But they can mimic animal calls and human voices. They will in the wild to mimic the sound of a fox or a bobcat to if they find carrion, because then the fox and the bobcat will come and start eating, and then the crows can come in because they can't get through the skin and fur. But after the animals are at it, then they can get in and get what they need because they don't have teeth. And they've let's see what else they will even mimic the call of a lost mate to encourage it to return. They'll have funerals for their dead. I mean, they're amazing things. And the raven, as you know, was there's ravens at the Tower of London, because if they said as long as there's ravens at the Tower of London, the empire will never fall. I did, but Azrael was possibly hatched in 2001. She came from Lowry Park Zoo in Florida. She has played dead to get attention. She'll lay out there and people see this, oh my God, yeah, they'll call the keepers over and as soon as she sees them, she's up and around. Yeah, she just does it for attention. She loves their attention. And she's been heard talking to wild ravens in the zoo. Now, let me see. I think that's it. That's it on the one. Yeah. Okay, now, great expectations. This is where I do apologize for all the egg puns, but we're going to be talking about eggs. There's always something interesting about birds because, again, this is a huge subject. So, and they're beautiful. Look at there's all these different. These don't have as many of the pointy shapes, but look at the colors and speckles and how do they do that? So, I have a word from an expert. Now, let's see if I can get this. No, where is it? How do I do this? I think I just have to. I'm afraid we're going to have to see a commercial first. How do I do that now? What do I hit?
You did great.
Yeah, I hit the blue and that showed up. I'm sorry.
No, I just skip.
Oh, I hope it shows up. Let's see. Okay. There's a commercial. We'll get rid of the commercial.
It's not showing on the thing, so.
Oh, it's not showing?
Well, it's,
Oh.
it's just a different.
Oh.
Hold on.
Oh, let me get up.
It's. Didn't get it.
Like I said, Sir David Attenborough is a god to me, and he's got the news on it. Eggs, the ostrich egg is the largest bird egg in the world. It should be bigger because the ostrich itself is such a big bird. And then we have the rhea eggs, the emu over there. And this is the one that started me off on wondering about eggs. This is a kiwi. Now, kiwi should be laying an egg this size. It's the size of a chicken. Can you imagine that coming out of a chicken? But kiwis are very strange birds. They are flightless birds of New Zealand. They're the national emblem of New Zealand. They have a long beak with the nostrils at the end of the beak. So you stick it in the sand, you feed sandworms and stuff. Their feathers are more like hair than feathers. And I had seen a picture of a skeleton with the egg in it, which shows you just how much space it takes up inside the body. And indeed, before it's laid, and they don't get the shells for the last 24 hours before it's laid, she can't eat because everything is all kind of stuffed up inside of her.
Don't have any dinosaurs.
Yeah. But let's do a big thing. We got this from the part of the Smithsonian collection that came.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, where's Des?
Well, it is sharing, but then. What's it?
Shoot. Oh, this is gonna go away the thing. Because it talks about how are eggs made. Now, all birds have 2 ovaries, but they generally only use the one, with a couple of exceptions. And I believe it's the right. I have to look at my notes again in a few minutes. I do apologize. Techno. But with the kiwi, she uses both. And I think it's the right ovary that they use, and the platypus, that good platypus who uses the one and the two. The echidna uses both. Just one of those things. Let's see, I got it on here.
I'm
sorry.
Just can't get to.
Oh, there it is, but it's not showing up.
Yeah, no, it is here.
It's in.
The screen.
So, I don't know, you can't see this. Can't get rid of that either.
Can you give us the URL? Can you tell us what that is?
Okay. It's youtube.com/watch V =PCL 72 LDPVX8.
Who's the presenter?
It's a BBC, and it's Attenborough's Wonder of Eggs. So when the birds ovaries, when they have the egg is the yellow stuff. That's the egg. So it starts going down the tube, no, oh, see, we have it on there.
I mean, it is here, it's just switching from PowerPoint to,
I'm so sorry about that.
I'm not sure how.
Let me stop this. Get out of this stuff.
Where's the?
Anyway, the yolk is the egg. So as the egg moves down through the to the uterus, oh my gosh, tubes to the uterus, one tube. It gets fertilized. The sperm could last for about 2 weeks because it usually takes just one breeding
Oh, there.
to store the sperm and fertilize the egg with only a couple. Oh yes, this is it. Yeah.
Oops, sorry. No, it's here. But then voices. No. I don't. Where's the
Sound?
sound is there?
No, sound all the way up. How about sound on that machine?
Oh, the way, where is she?
It'll still show you the picture. It's just talking about she's flying miles and miles away. And she has the sperm inside of her. She's gonna be looking for a spot to go lay an egg. It's gonna be taking a while.
How about the volume of the TV?
Where is the, oh,
Where's the remote?
Oh, here. Yeah.
This
yeah,
birds
there we go. So let's,
Yes, there we go. Okay.
For a start, they called it the honeymoon period. But that rather missed the point, because the female goes away on her own. And why does she fly hundreds of miles away from home with her mate's sperm still unused inside her? Because she's busy building up this yolk. This is the bird's reproductive tract. Here in the ovary, one of the ova is filling with yolk. On the yolk surface sits a tiny disc that contains all the female genetic material needed to create an embryo. The albatross is now to collect enough food to enable her to amass a yolk so big that it can be transformed into a chick. And only when she's done that will the egg be fertilized. Remarkably, it takes more than one sperm to start a new life. The extra sperm probably releases substances that start the embryo's development. Minutes after fertilization, the egg starts its 24-hour journey down the oviduct. First, it swathes with albumen, the egg white, that contains the water needed by the growing chick. That done and enclosed within the membrane, it travels on into the uterus, where it will be given its protective armor, a shell.
This is what was interesting about it.
The shell is actually quite separate from what it contains. To help understand this, we can do a simple experiment.
Which I did. Not with these eggs. I'll send this around after.
These are unfertilized quail eggs, and this is vinegar. What the vinegar will do is to reverse the process of shell formation by eating away the shell from the outside. These thousands of tiny bubbles are carbon dioxide. They're the result of the acetic acid in the vinegar reacting with the calcium carbonate of the shell. In 24 hours, the shell has dissolved.
Took me a little longer with the chicken eggs.
And this is the egg as it would have been when it first arrived at the uterus. A yolk surrounded by a thin layer of albumen, all contained and supported by a loose, soft bag. And unexpectedly, it's this bag, the membrane, not the shell, that gives the egg its shape. So now, back inside the uterus, the egg is almost complete. Calcium carbonate, carried by blood vessels, is deposited on the soft egg membrane, where it will harden and set, forming the shell. Then other cells begin to discharge pigment, like paint being squirted from hundreds of tiny paint guns. As the egg slowly revolves, yet more cells spray out spots and streaks. It's taken just under 24 hours for the egg to be fertilized and enclosed within a hard shell. And now, within the dark uterus, it waits like an actor in the wings, ready to make its appearance on life's stage.
And that's where we end.
But which end will emerge first from the bird?
And that's the end of that. Okay. Look, now, how do I stop this? Right down. Okay. So I did this little experiment that he was talking about with vinegar and chicken eggs. They got a little swollen because they were in water. So I didn't know if they was, exist in this plain air. Chicken. Egg wide all over the place. Now, when you crack eggs, you see that white thing? It's called I spelled it out phonetically, so I can never remember. It's Kalizon, and that actually is what holds the yolk in place within the membrane. And when we crack the egg, it usually breaks. So, how do birds grow these incubators inside the bodies designed for rigors of flight? Why are there different colors? Why do some have different spherical shapes? How long does it take a bird to lay a nestful? Well, hold on to your feathers, because I promise you bird eggs are exciting. In fact, they are exceptional. Birds have figured out how to make eggs that are strong enough to protect their precious cargo, but also delicate enough to allow the baby birds inside to eventually hatch. They got to come out, especially with an egg like this. A grown man could stand on a ostrich egg and not crack it. You have to use a saw. And I saw an experiment. I'm too nervous to try it, where somebody very carefully stepped on 2 dozen in the box. The top was off. You guys can try it. Chicken eggs. They had to be careful to put the weight on, the same, and it helped. But I'm eggs cost too much. So we talked about they first of all, birds lay hard-shelled eggs. Where they lay them depends on the species. Some will experiment with egg colors depending on where they lay their eggs. Some use specific patterns so they could tell their eggs from others, especially when they have parasitic egg layers that will lay their eggs in other birds' nests and kick them out. And some of them are for camouflage. I mean, you can see look at some of these like oh gosh, what's the one that makes a killdeer will lay a spotted egg because it lays it on the ground. And the blue eggs, birds see in different spectrums than we do. They see in the ultraviolet light too. So it's possible that these colors, the blue, won't show up to other birds, I guess, or other mammals perhaps. But because the robin's egg is just beautiful. And shapes could be more round, like an owl, and more pointy, like shearwater's cliff-laying bird. And it's thought that the more pointy-ended egg would make it less likely to roll off a cliff. Say if it would just kind of roll around in a circle, or it has more area to lay up against the nest. Excuse me. But they did a study of 50,000 eggs from more than 1,400 species of birds to find out why there were all these different shapes. And it's believed that the egg shape is related to how much time a bird spends in flight. A bird is like a barn owl, which spends most of its time on the wing, has pointy eggs, whereas a screech owl doesn't, it's round. And it's what am I saying? They think it's because, again, we saw how the egg was formed, and a bird in flight can't have some big round thing hanging around inside. It's got to be kind of narrow where it makes more sense. So there's those that think that, well, it's because of where they're nesting, and some think that, well, it's because of the way they fly, and the owls don't fly around that much. They sit and wait until they find something. So the jury is kind of still out on that, and this is after that big study they did. And we talked about how the egg was formed in that thing. I'm not going to talk about that again because that was really kind of cool. But the putting the color in and the splotches and the streaks and it's just amazing. The largest living cell in the world is an ostrich egg. And oh, do I have a picture of that? I think I do.
Oh, yeah. I think yes.
An ostrich egg is 2,000 calories. One egg, 2,000 calories.
There's some cinnamon.
Ugh. I saw one picture. They had the big yolk. It was kind of really soft, and the white and stuff. And they were dipping things in it, and it's like, oh, I just can't. It was like, I think I'm off eggs now. But it's a single cell that can weigh up to 5 pounds before fertilization. The white, oh yeah, the Kayla's I talked about that white cord-like strand of egg white that anchors the yolk to the top and the bottom of the shell. And if your egg has no chalaza at all, it could be going stale or it's lower quality. So getting that white is good. Those are the bakers, you don't want that in there. It's not a chick or anything like that neither, or blood spots. They're not chicks. It's just sometimes blood happens as they're going down the oviduct. But you could strain that out. But it's part of the egg. A word about chicken eggs. A hen will never lay more than 2 eggs in a day. Some breeds are known to be the better layers than others. The white leghorns and the red island reds lay about 250 to 300 eggs a year. It's a lot of eggs. Generally, hens stop laying or decrease significantly in the winter, and the first 2 years of a hen's egg laying time are her most productive and decreases with age. The red jungle fowl is a wild counterpart to our domesticated chicken, and they only lay about 10 to 12 eggs a year. Yeah, it's a red jungle fowl. If you see a picture of it, it looks just like a really pretty rooster. Yeah, if you see I haven't seen the hen, but the looks just like a chicken. But and it's still around. It's domesticated, so it's still around, but the wild counterpart. The largest egg. Oh yeah, so this guy here has about the volume of 24 extra large chicken eggs. 2,000 calories. And then we have the Rhea egg, which is one of these. And we have the emu egg. It's a dark color. She's a jungle living bird. And the cassowary also lows. I think it's more of a deep blue egg. Again, it's another jungle bird. And it's a strange bird. You really see the dinosaur in this lineage. And the females call the males. They'll mate with the males. The males will incubate the eggs and raise the chicks. So let's see. Eggs, okay, here's they're remarkable creations of nature, from their various shapes and sizes to the incredible colors and patterns. They are like the world's tiniest art canvases. In conclusion, excuse me, I hope I didn't scramble your brains with too many facts. Usually when I start talking about birds, words come out faster than a green goose, green gas, green grass for a goose. Just take a moment as you're walking around the zoo to look at the many different birds we have. They play vital roles in ecosystems and human culture. Let's help our guests to appreciate and protect these amazing creatures for future generations. May all your days be sunny side up. Yeah. Yeah. Don't ask me that. That was a Jay.
Relationship with the Audubon? You're trying to be able
We do, especially when we have people saying, oh, they're parrot, I go, we'll refer them to sanctuary, Audubon and stuff. I'm sure we do have some kind of a relationship with the Audubon, with all the Audubon.
Marsh grass plantings usually.
Oh, right, and then, you got, these guys do a lot of, outside conservation work. And so they would be probably more working with them than we do. But we can also participate in it too. I didn't see some do that. Right. So thank you so much for doing that.
So stop recording.
Anybody want some eggs?
So
Correct.
Yeah. Those are pretty cool. My husband said to try it in Coke, but I said, but you can't see what's happening in Coke. You can see it more in vinegar. And you can see the bubbles and the calcium kind of dissolving.
Yeah, my wife's planning to shoot it out there.
Does he? Yeah. Well, it would be quicker like he did it with the trail eggs and the snaps.
How long did it take for you to get out?
I think I left it in there for maybe 48 hours. I wanted to make sure it was all the way out before I tried taking them out. So I didn't know what to expect. Given the price of eggs, I didn't want to make a mess.
Is that a better way to make soft boiled eggs?
Yeah, these are raw eggs. This is if I were to open these, it would be all. Yeah. Those are real? Yeah. Yeah. No, they're chicken. These chicken eggs. These are the yolk is in there.
Yeah.
Kind of see it in the light a little bit. I don't want to drop it.